Hey guys, welcome back to the Shimi podcast. It's me again, the other guy, the third guy, the third guy. Today we have another guest. We've been trying to have this for like a while.
Yeah.
It's always like I'll hit you up and then never hit you up because I get busy. But finally,
we made it happen.
Finally made it happen. Today we have our guest. His name is Danny TSG Humayne.
Yes, sir.
A rapper, musician, producer. What else are you? What are you, man?
You forgot I'm Christian.
Rapper, producer, Christian, the whole nine, man. The whole nine, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. Mm-hmm. We go way back.
Way back.
So this is amazing.
I have I think I have a history of bringing people I've known for so long. Okay, the last person I was with, the bishop.
Yeah,
he's known me my whole life. When we moved.
Oh wow.
When we moved here, because they're one of the first people we ever met as families, right? So since 2007 till now, almost 20 years.
Oh wow.
Known that man for a while. I've known for like a while.
Exactly.
Because we met in grade 9.
Yes.
Yes. We met in grade 9. And then, even then, he was a rapper. You know those boys that used to like beat pens in glass? Patebo. Then my guy right here is rapping. He even had like a crew.
Exactly.
You, B-Man, who else?
Yeah, there was
B-Man, Elton.
Yes, LT.
Tizo.
Yeah. and it's and I think that season of my life was weird because it was a space when I was suspended from Pelembe. So I came to the school. I forget the name every time.
Kite Basic.
Yes. Yeah. So I started doing that term or something there in grade 9. So that's the backstory. So it's that grade 8, I came to Kitwe by Pelembe, and then in that space met these guys, and it was a beautiful space because it was more liberal compared to Mpelembe.
It was more liberal.
Taking long walks.
And as a person who kind of had both feet in both roads, I stayed in Pelembe.
Yeah.
I went to this school.
Yeah.
I could
figure your dad was teaching. It still is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, still is.
He was like a Christian figure to most of us.
So
shout out Kuba Fiash Zone.
Basalim.
Hey.
Yeah. So we go way back. So, and I was like, let me hit him up and see how it's going. So let's talk about your childhood in terms of like music.
Yeah. So
when did you know you wanted to be a musician?
I think as early as grade 4, So I came from a background or a school that sort of was artistic. It was very artistic in how if it's December, they're doing some Christmas plays and, so I started off just by reciting scripture. Maybe I'm playing a role of being an angel or I don't know, Joseph, but they liked giving me roles of being an angel because I could master those scriptures and passages and just sort of own them, and it's flowing organically. So my teachers, I think, played a major role because grade 1, grade 2, that's when that was happening. Grade 3, I sort of joined the music club. I liked guitar and just a choir setup. So my first experience in like a music space was not even rap. It was just singing like independent songs, Christmas songs. And then grade 4, I started getting exposed to Dr. Dre, Lil Wayne, Tupac. Yeah, so at that point I knew that, okay, I like these guys. I want to be like these guys.
I like how they're rhyming.
Yeah, I like so sadly, even the way of life, like they just seemed cool. There was something cool about hip hop and Dr. Dre, the cars, of course, at that time, I didn't know the girls. It was just one of those things.
Because it looks like it's money.
Yes.
And in your head, you're just thinking, money.
Yes, money. We didn't even but exactly. It was that kind of an experience. So grade 4, I think that's when I knew that I want to do this. And then I started, I'm a book. So now I could study 10 imbiwabe panokubepa school whatever early 12 and you use one to like write lyrics and all of that. So I started writing a lot of lyrics from artists. Yeah, so that's kind of how it all started. So it didn't start like in church, or it just started because art, I think, is God given. So anyone has been given some artistic ability. It might not be music, it might be working with your hands or working with your mind to bring a vision to life, whatever. But it takes time sometimes to birth that or to discover it. So, but you know, graciously, God had me discover that in grade 4, and then grade 5, I wrote my first. Actually, I didn't write them. There's a lady. Her name was Miss Mlenga. I wish I could find her. If you exist somewhere, if you taught at Emmanuel International Christian School in Ndola, yeah, you gave me the first 4 lyrics, which I've never forgotten. So, because I expressed my interest, like I love rap. So that was now grade 5. And the lyrics, I think, were like, Danny is my name, blinging is my game. At the time, glitter was like a manly thing, so don't think I was girly. But it was, Danny is my name, blinging is my game, glitter gives me fame, without it my life ain't same. So when I do those 4 lines, Charlie Lila, like guys. Yeah, so that was grade 5, and after that, there was no turning back. Yeah, it was now just performing at school. If there's careers day, I'll come dressed as Lil Wayne, you know, in a suit and some really big shoes. Mom supported that part, like the artistic, go dressed as that, but not really the music itself. She thought it was a phase. Yeah.
But it wasn't a phase.
Yeah, it wasn't a phase. So that's why shidemu kumana nomba kuno kukitwe. That's now, like, there's been like a backstory, you know what I mean? I got into battle rap at some point. So that's kind of how it all shaped up. But most of it was inspired by what I watched. Yeah.
And I feel like that happens a lot, because the first thing you see, the kind of media you consume, what kind of brings you up in a way. Personally, rap was never really my thing.
Yeah.
I won't even lie. Like, of course, I grew up around like my dad. Very Christian man, right?
Yeah,
very Christian man, right? He's a pastor now, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
serious? Where is that?
Amazing Worship Center. Amen. Somewhere. It's a long story.
You should invite me for a service.
No problem. Mandem just woke up one day. I was like, I'm going to Bible school. Like, literally, that's what happened. Like 2-3 years ago, like, I'm going to Bible school, and he said, "I'm going to Kaniki." Yeah, it's like his final year now.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And he got ordained in December.
Wow. That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, man.
And the backstory, I think, is amazing as well, because there are men who you've known your whole life as men who would always bring out Jesus in a conversation, and he was that kind of teacher, you know, because kuda baba mama teachers because that's their worldview. You know? But I think for Abba Fiashi, now Pastor Salim, I guess.
Yeah, now Pastor Salim.
Yeah.
Imagine me being a PK at the age of 27. That's wild. Like,
now look at Pastor's kid.
Imagine.
The pressure. I should start asking you questions.
No. I'm not the one on the hot seat.
Podcast.
Yeah. So, so I guess that for me, my music interests were always leaning towards the rock, the rock, the punk. That's how the guitar thing started for you. So I understand you. My kind of music writing was always on the emo side.
Yeah.
If you hear some of the things I've written in my life, you can cry. It was sad. There was like a period where I was just writing sad music with cello. Remember cello? Right?
Yes, I remember cello.
Me and cello wrote some sad songs.
We want to hear them.
Nah, it's good. They are staying locked in the chamber.
Studio, yes, yeah, they were very available. I'll come do the mixing and the mastering. I got you.
They're staying in the chamber. Right. So after grade 9, right, we go separate ways. Your life starts. I feel like that's when, I think grade 10 is where life kind of like hits you, and like kind of, your life starts after in grade 10. Because it's a new phase. You most likely you end up at a new school and new influences. So what happens in grade 10 to 12
to 12.
in your music journey?
Yeah. So a lot happened there because so grade 9, I leave Kitwe Basic for that term that I was doing school, and I go back to Mpelembe to write exams. So I'm still in Kitwe, and in Kitwe I was staying in Uzakile. There was a studio there, so I feel like my first radio interview was here in Kitwe, Radio
Real?
Chengelo.
Real?
Yeah, with a man called Peerless Baxter. I've been looking for that man as well. Someone send him my direction. Ngawashitile something. So with the owner of the studio was another man who I've been looking for again by the name of Singh J. He had a studio in Uzakile. Anyone who knew it was a popping studio, like good quality. So they gave me good stuff. So grade 10, I now go there. So the music thirst and the aggression, the hunger had already started. So Kansenshi Secondary School, I formed a group there, a group called NES ENT, with some friends of mine, a brother called Godfrey, he used to call himself Maverick, and another guy called Chipa, he calls himself Chipa the Lion right now, and a lady by the name of Natasha Kasongo. We gave her the name Tanoi Bliss. Yeah. So, no Tanoi.
No,
I don't even know how there was a whole backstory of this Bliss means shani. It was quite a meeting. So we took it very serious because at Kansenshi Secondary we sort of had the hunger more than other people because we would walk long distances trying to get studio time with Drafex. At the studio where Shefi and Pilato did the chashi shit. So as high school kids going to the same booth as the big boys in the game at the time, you're like,
what happened?
So that's how my grade 10 looked like. It was forming that group, making music together. We did quite a bit of songs, and one influence also at that time was Mom's young brother. He also had like a musical passion. He used to play keyboard or something at church, at Franciscan Center. So he's the one who linked me to DraftX, because DraftX, I think they had an arrangement where he loaned out his studio equipment to DraftX or whatever. I can't remember what the arrangement was, but there was that arrangement. So I didn't pay for that studio time. I just
your beneficiary.
Yeah, not even beneficiary. So that's how that time went. So the guys at school also were excited because we had good quality music. It hit the waves. Sun FM Zambia were on the top 10 chart. So grade 10 life started. Then grade 11. So grade 10, apadani nama battle rap ndeta sana. Grade 11, the beginning of grade 11, I became music club president at Kansenshi Secondary School. My vice was a brother called Chibamba Chisongo. He's now a pastor. He's pastoring in Kasama. In grade 11, it was interesting because that's the year the Lord saved me. Halfway through that whole niche music, but I've met Chef 187. We are sort of talking. I'm going to Alpha Entertainments. I'm catching a wave. You know what I mean? Then I'm invited to a place called the Jesus Christ Movement, and I meet another brother called Zik, and another guy called Mulenga Chanda, and those guys are the ones who they were very musical guys. They sort of mentored me in the music space and in my faith, but the platform or the base was music. I went there because I heard, kwali I'm a rapper. So exactly. So it was more of, the music has drawn me there. Then I find Jesus there. So that's how the shift happened now from what I was doing. I hate to call it secular to gospel and those divides that people create, but those divides are important. But I tell people I didn't become a gospel artist. I became a Christian. The Lord saved me, and then my worldview started changing now. So yeah, I can do a love song, and this time it's from a biblical worldview. It's not just undressing a woman or they land a fair to like a guy, you know, my guys are you know, muleke. I don't know, manage walimbati. Shakoting my lyrics here. And they start justifying, no, that's my entertainment side. Can you? Of course, we can't all say the same thing, but we can at least do music that you know will impact society positively. But topic for another day. Yeah, so that's kind of how that whole 10 to 12 phase. I think that's what you asked me. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
It's that 10 hype, you know, music club, shiny. 11, that same guy meets Jesus. 12 was more of me now, part of the leadership at the Jesus Christ movement, learning discipleship, doing life on life ministry with people, going around schools, you know. So even the school where my wife was at, she never ever showed up, by the way. She was that, and you know, the girl who doesn't really notice you is the one you sort of want to go after, you know what I mean?
Because I don't make it.
So that's kind of how grade 12 looked like. I was going around, you know, yeah, I forget the schools, but we went around almost every school in Ndola Trust, you know, Tuadidepo Patchfubu, you know, Tuadidepo Dominican Convent, that's where my wife was. Yeah, so grade 12, I think, was big for me because I built a strong fan base. And some of those people are still supporters up to now. You know, they're the ones who show up for shows because they've seen this for a while. Yeah, and then later on, other things came. But that's how I would summarize that season.
How hard was the transition from, let's say, from secular to gospel, as the divide, as you put it?
Yeah.
How hard was that transition? Because it's hard for many people to kind of just like switch cold turkey. I remember asking the bishop the same thing, like how for him, he said it was a genuine just a shift. Like he never went back. And this was a person who was a junkie.
Yeah.
He actually said that, what did he say? It's, after the paper, the paper, fuel.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay, that never
Yeah, they go back. Like basically his life was very, as we put it, he had the cockeye phase, right?
Yeah.
And he said when he met God, when he had that encounter, it was basically just a switch.
Yeah.
And there was never really a turning back, or the point where he like a struggle in going back to the old vices.
Yeah.
Maybe the struggle is there in terms of like faith and believing.
Yeah.
But the struggle in the vices was never really there.
Wow.
So did you like ever struggle in terms of like maybe I could just go back for
Just go for something.
Just for something, because God is all knowing and is all forgiving, right?
Yeah.
Like because almost every person has that mentality, like God will always accept me and bring me back, right? So have you ever had in that moment, because you're young in your faith, you're young in your faith, and you're pursuing this music thing, and in your head the gospel music scene isn't as good as because you're young, right? The gospel music scene isn't as good as what Shefi is doing or what Makitu is doing. And these are people from Mondola, you're from Mondola, and you want to be as big as these people.
Yeah.
Right? So was it hard?
So the funny thing is let me start it from here. When someone gets saved, okay, the Lord saves them, they become Christian, they're new, there's a fire that everyone has. That's how come you hear scripture. I forget the actual passage, but it talks about it. So it's speaking to these people and telling them, go back to your first love. Where is that fire or that that drive you had when you were beginning? I'm paraphrasing, by the way, but I'm sure these guys can look up the scripture and I can show you on the screen. But I hope you do that.
I think about it.
But so there was a fire we had that it had me in a space where all we wanted is to give hope, man. Like, we're not trying to be on the charts. We were not trying to bag money for shows. kula baija season, any artist goes through that season where you're just trying to make an impact. It's your passion. Whether bakupele 1 pin, whether bakupele 500, you're just doing what you love. And that's the season I was in Ndola with the brothers I mentioned, Mulenga, Chanda, Zeke. Both are doing well right now for themselves in their careers. I think Zeke is a lawyer. Mulenga is, I think, a financial analyst. Anyway, he's in that space, economics or whatever. So those brothers, I think, did a good job discipling me, because the drive was not let's outshine Sheffy. Let's, we were on a mission, and that's what we knew. That's what I knew. It's that, look, let's go to the schools. Let's go everywhere. Let's go to the marketplace. Let's go. There's a place in Ndola, Pakan Senshi, a shopping center. We would go there with guitars. We're busting some bars. People are coming, buy mini now. We would go to churches. That was the drive. So when we started, I think the divide was very clear. It's that, guys, we have been called to be the light. We shouldn't even go to music festivals. We shouldn't go to, we shouldn't collaborate with the world. We shouldn't. So it was very clear for us. And I think that was God's providence, because the compromise I see right now, where someone just gets saved and there's no distinction as to whether or not they even the power change. I know, don't judge me. Now we know I've got Dama vices. We don't conquer, man. I think for us it was not that. We were so radical that we were not trying to be like the world. Of course, we had funny hairstyles. We had so there was all of that, but we faced temptation and pressures that were different, but not really let's outshine this person, or you get what I mean. But coming to your question of the struggles, I think struggles came later on. Because when you're in a comfort space now, your comfort zone, you're sort of okay. You know what I mean? You're doing shows in church where you bust one line, even if it's a work line. And we need to stop doing that, Christians. Let's not lie. If
Let's not lie to these people.
Let's not lie. Man, just
go there.
The Christian thing is to actually maybe keep quiet, and after the nan, tell the brother that, okay, I'm joking. I'm joking. After the nan, I don't know, in a way that they see that, because we gas people up, and when they go in the marketplace, Christian music is seeming mediocre, because church then you go there trying to compete with the guys in the mainstream who are doing a great job, by the way, in terms of their artistic mind and all of that. Then the Christians are now lagging behind. So what we didn't want is to be that, because the people we looked up to, Lecrae, KB, they were very clear about their mission. But years later, my bro, that's when the enemy, I think, got us, because, like we're Christian. Yes, and then when you start being hit with,
real life
situations, temptation, so when you're starting out, maybe only 5 girls were in your DM. This time you've got 102. You like 45 of them. Narrow list to that one. I feel like those are the struggles. I didn't face those struggles. I think I stayed celibate my whole journey of being a Christian from 2013. Of course, I had vices that every now and then I would struggle with, because prior to that, I think I've spoken about it multiple times. There were times when I was a kid and I struggled with pornography, so that would always be something I had to fight,
work on.
So even as a Christian, there were times when I fell back and went to pages I shouldn't have gone to, and so it was a learning process for me, but from 2013, it was very clear that, look, we are not trying to play with girls, we're not trying to do this, at least for me personally. That was my resolve. So struggles came later on. I love that you said the bishop or the reverend or the pastor you had didn't really have struggles. Well, for me, I think the story is different. I had to I had to choose Christ. Even up to now, I think my Christianity is one that is filled with choosing to die daily to myself. Because there's obviously the sinful nature and all of that. And being in the music space is crazy because I want a hit song. So Tamba, search for Danny TSG Humayne, get those numbers up. I want that good money for shows. I've got responsibility. There's a wife, there's a kid, there's all those things. So struggles for me have come now. I feel like now is when I feel the weight of fame, the weight of being in the entertainment space, the weight of all these things. I've got so much to lose now. So then if I cheat on my girlfriend, I'll gonna go beola in years to come. That was a broke guy. I've got everything to lose if I were to cheat on my wife. Yeah, there's a family or a home that's being broken. And so I feel like now is when there is need, not that there was no need to be strong at the time or to fight temptation there was, but the season was very different.
Yeah, there's more resolve now.
Exactly. So that's how I would put it. Struggles have been there. We don't have much time to get to all of them, but there's been all sorts of struggles, man. There was a season when, excluded from CBU and I'm feeling depressed. I'm running to the bottle, whiskey. There's a line I've written in a song where I said whiskey became daily mukate, like it became daily bread, every day.
Wow, we're topping up.
Exactly, just to numb the pain. So struggles have been there in my walk of faith, but God has seen me through. He's been good to me. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the look, right? Yeah. So there's this typical, I'll kind of say Christian look, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the typical Christian look, right? So I'm sure most people would think, look at you like, this man's a giant. This man's a giant. Like a weed.
I know giant di sa look as though.
Hey, man. They'll see the locks and be like, this guy. They'll see the piercings and like, this guy, right? So how do you navigate that in certain aspects? Because especially the older generation, the older generation will think, I don't think this guy is taking himself very serious. Yeah, because in their thought process, your appearance should speak for you first.
Yes.
Right. And as we were younger, we've learned that it's not always about appearance.
Yeah.
Appearance does matter in a sense, but it's not always the first thing that you should judge someone over. So how have you navigated that?
Yeah, I think.
No. What? You want to read? Okay. Anyway, so you answer this question after the break. Anyway, we are back. Second session. So I asked TSG about his the appearance.
Yeah.
How have you ever? Before you answer that, have you ever been in a situation where the person looks at you and just like but
I think they haven't said it to me, but you can tell that. By someone you've gone for a youth Sunday, then you step on the platform, they're just like, oh my word. So that's the face they're giving. The kids are excited because they followed you or
they know
whatever.
You.
I think, then after that, they get to maybe give you a chance to, just express yourself. Then they might be like, oh, okay, I think he's okay. Yeah, but first impression, I've faced that. In some instances, I've been told, I think, maybe just have a simple
clean look.
Clean look. Because you've got good substance in your content, in your so the stereotype has been there, where people think something else or.
So how do you navigate through that?
It's been tough. I think, if I can be honest with you, I've grown a whole lot when it comes to proving points. Because being in hip hop is quite interesting. Like, you are very aggressive, you're very driven, there's a lot of self. I. Even when you listen to buzz, ni nkaba, ni mbachitashani, ni mboma. You know, that's like the order of the day. So now when you become Christian, there are times when there's that whole, I have been through this. It's now very different. You're just not saying, I can beat you up, I can do what. It's now, I have been through this, I am going through this. And obviously sometimes you've got other eyes. You know, I like to call them, because it's self. So when it comes to dressing, I've also grown to a level where there are places where I know, okay, uku going with all my arrangements, you know, I'm not in my rings today. I've got rings that I wear. That's not even right to say. I can't say I'm not in my rings, but I'm wearing my jacket.
Yeah, I'm not the chauffeur.
But I'm not putting on my rings, okay? Yeah, so there are places where you do that, they'll be like, and there's a narrative, oh, a Zambian musician, wala ring, so that will blow it, or, you know, all those things. So, quite a copy narrative, yeah, but there's some satanic or some ritualistic, I don't know what they call them, but they just feel like those rings you see, I won't name drop people lest I'm sued, but yeah, there are people. Just do your homework. Check some mainstream Zambian artists. They're in rings. So there are people who think, if you had a coffee question,
Blower.
so I tell people, guys,
Get
besides, one Africa and Zambia.
blower.
So anyway, I do think there's some stereotype, but I've grown to not prove a point. So if I have to take off something, I'll take it off. If I have to take off my snapback, or if I have to dress in a suit to win over a person, I'll do it. Earlier in my career, that wasn't me. I'll come in my ripped jeans and, you know, I'll just come.
Come as you are.
You know, that was, yes, there was a sense of arrogance to it where I just like, look, I don't care what you think. My God loves me as I am. So too bad if you are stumbled. And I would also ask, like, okay, if you're stumbled, what sin are you committing from me dressing the way I'm dressed? And people wouldn't have an answer. You know, so I realized it's just people's preference. They don't like that hip hop look, or, you know, Danny dressing in whatever, ripped jeans. There's no sin that they're committing. If someone tells me, look, you're exposing too much skin, and maybe that's a lady, you're exposing too much skin, and this is how I'm feeling about it, and it's making me sin in this, granted, you know. But if there's no argument from scripture that's saying, then we shouldn't really make our preferences the standard.
Yeah.
Suit and tie, actually, Jesus didn't rock any of those things. You know, so if we're being very technical, if in a pangat, holy look, church clothes, I think we're a bit far from, let's rock some robes, maybe. Jewish look. But all in all, that's me just cracking a joke. I'm not trying to Mapalo clickbait. Then I'll be in hot soup. No, I'm just trying to say, we need to be more gracious and considerate. There's Christian liberty. Christians have the freedom to do certain things, you know. You can dress how you want, but that shouldn't be just for your own gain. You should be considerate. So the point here is that how have I navigated this whole thing? It's that being considerate, loving my neighbor as myself, those are the things that kind of drive me now. So if I'm called to Maranatha and they clearly state, this is a dress code, my wife will help me put up the attire, because I suck at that. Nafuala before day monata I feel na lelo line kwa tofo na tsa wule wanda
Give more for I don't know.
bosses much. You know, so there's always, at least I've got a friend now who I live with, ni housemate, so to that talikana vansadi shakolimo, and that's a great help. It helps me not just pick anything. I posted something recently. I used to wear close to 8 or 10 chains, you know. Yeah. Maybe you guys should show that picture so that it shows the people what I'm talking about. And when we got married in 2020, my wife just said,
No.
Shai shonoko yai. And she said, "Sanga right now a post."
Vai become an uncle. Vai become
So yesterday I found an old pic and I posted it and said, but I didn't do because I liked the look. It gave a hip hop type of look, you know. But yeah, I think there's room to grow. There's room to put down certain things. Yeah, and then sometimes I do rock what I want to rock. I'll wear my ripped jeans. If you come to my shows, I love being comfortable on stage. I'll wear what I think is maybe playing a part in the story or the song or the theme. You know, so now it's driven by concepts. It's not just let me dress like this to piss some people off. Or let me like at my church. I go to Faith Baptist Church, Riverside. I don't go there with my you know what I mean? Like these are for whatever, my artistic world, and yeah, when I'm there, I'll just dress as everyone else, just so I'm not attracting. I think the dreadlocks are already enough, and God created this hair to grow. I'm just doing what God made it to do. so I think there I'm safe. But with just extra shine, there's room to take some things off and keep a simple look.
Yeah. So one question from me before we get to Ben's questions.
Oh, cool.
So navigating being a new father.
Oh yeah.
Fatherhood. I mean, I'm not a new uncle. I've been an uncle for years though.
Yeah.
But even though there's a new kid in the family.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
But that I can borrow him and take him back. That's fun. That's okay.
Yeah.
but this one's in your house.
Yeah.
This one's in your house forever.
Never, bro.
Forever.
Until we say, my friend.
I think Tambensha. Yeah. So how do you navigate being a new father? Because first off, you're a father, but you're also a young father, a young father in the music industry.
Yeah.
So how does that marry?
It's and I've never really put my thoughts together when I think of that. It's quite a challenge, man. It's beautiful, first of all. You know, seeing this little one who, you know, 1 minute she's looking like the mother, another minute you're like, we're not, and then, you know, you're seeing just how that little one trusts you, you know, with everything. So it serves as a strong reminder of just your relationship with God. We are made in His image, you know, our God is creative, we're creative. So there's a lot of things that, you know, and you're deep in thought, you know, just how much of a blessing that is. So yeah, I'll plainly just say it's beautiful. It's a feeling you can't explain. Just seeing this little one grow, and sometimes through really, really tough circumstances, you know, might be health, might be what, you know. So I think for me, just seeing the entire journey has been sobering. It's pushed me to grow in ways I never thought I would grow, you know, just from my wife being pregnant, the complications that were there. It's pushed me to grow and trust in God that I'm not in charge, you know, I'm just a steward. So even with her, that's kind of my disposition. That's how I take it. It's that God has given me some time with this little one, and it's short-lived. You know, I might only have 30 years with her and I'll be out, you know, because then maybe God has planned to take me at 69, you know. So those thoughts visit my mind every time. Well, every now and then, not every time. Yeah. But at the same time, every time I'm filled with joy, just, you know, playing my fatherly responsibility, just being there, being present, you know, busting myself to ensure that I'm providing for the family. So all of those things are things that have been more loud now compared to, you know, when it was me and my wife. It's just, like,
just the two.
pa wasalla pona money ya pa day apita mile okay babe, let's go out you know what I mean. But now it's very different. Like right now I'm working on my album, and there are times when I can't make noise in the house because the studio is right at home. So yeah, so it's a whole new dynamic. Like you learn to put other people's, if you've never learned how to put other people's needs first, yeah, in that season of fatherhood you learn. So no mbapa ndeye bukshana badia ole bukshaba fyash bada twale muna tu sapato lo alipwa mlavaseka no kata ba father ba you know what I mean. But nijde mimla kumba no mwana wao. You know what I mean. So this has taught me that yeah, my needs are secondary now. There's someone who God has given, maybe let me say my wants, because I still need to grow as a Christian. I still need to do certain things, and those will still be primary. But when we break it down further, I now can't just do anything. You know, I can't tour when I just feel like. You know, that's how come the whole of last year when my wife was pregnant, we couldn't
move as much.
You know, and just even how delicate that pregnancy was, it's that I had to be there. I had to be there supporting. And now that the baby's there with us, there are times when she needs to cool off or rest because she's been having a tough day. So that studio abuela, you still have to step in somewhere. You know, so it's been a beautiful but challenging journey, and God, I think, gives the grace. So that's how I would sum it up: beautiful and challenging.
Yeah. So we're getting to Ben. Ben's been a fanboy for a while.
Appreciate.
His name is Ben Mwala.
Don't tell him I told you.
One day he'll come through. Another person who I've been trying to but schedules different cities, so it's pretty hard. See. Yeah. So which one am I going to go with first? Okay. Which album was the most challenging to make? Artistically.
The one I'm making.
Guys.
This very one I'm making.
Is this new one? The
new one is, and well, I didn't say it earlier. So I'm working on an album, dropping 3rd of July, 2025. So this has been the most challenging in terms of putting it together and the vision I have for it, because this will be my 3rd official studio album. First album, 2020, which was Life in Words. Second album was Cut It Down for Me, Matrimony, which was 2021. Then 2022, I was supposed to drop an album, but that's the year I lost mom. So 2021, we went through a season as a couple. We lost a child due to ectopic pregnancy. I've said this multiple times. So it's not new. For some people, it might be new. But yeah, so 2021 and 2022 was quite tough for me. So losing mom in 2022 had me in a very crazy space. There's music I failed to drop. But God also had his plans, because 2023, it's like that was a really good year for me, you know, the ending of 2023, because God gave me the opportunity to create a song that became a banger, and up to now it's still making me good money. I'm like, so it's actually, when you work with Maps, you find yourself a feature for life.
The money comes in.
The money will keep flowing.
But we'll talk about it.
Cool. So let me end it there. The album I'm working on right now is the one that's been, because I was trying to just build up and give you context as to why I'm saying it's the hardest. It's that just the space I'm in, I've got a lot to say.
So because you've been building up from from Cut It Down for Me to now.
Because it was supposed to drop 2022 when I lost mom. So now this has been a body of work that's being put together exactly from 2022 to up to now.
So it's like 3 years of content.
Yeah.
3 years
so,
of 3 years.
So now I feel like I can give people what has been happening and where I've been at.
Like, awesome. So what differences in approach do you okay, sorry. What differences in approach in writing do you employ when writing in Bemba or in English?
So I've always told people, Bemba is very rich and I know this is debatable. Quite a rapper who are able to do what I'm going to say. But Bemba is very rich when it comes to syllables, okay? It's just got this thing about it that I enjoy. When I'm writing something in Bemba, I'll have a thought. It might even be, the thought might be in English. You know, I tell people sometimes, I think, depending on the situation. So if I'm talking to someone who's Kopala, my thoughts are just in Bemba. I'm thinking of all the references and, you know, the vocabulary is just Bemba. When you're speaking to, if Tulelanda, so it's a bit mixed because we've related like that. I've known you, so I'm comfortable. So I would say I get the same principles of, okay, I need to rhyme well. I need to contextualize what I'm saying. People need to understand it. So if I need to mix the two in my writing, I need to do that well. I need to have it sounding nice. I feel like your delivery matters. You know? So for me, when writing, I always, like, I've got lenses that I use to ensure that my verse reaches this point. And sometimes I get it to just reach pen, because on that day maybe I was writing the song at 23 and I was very tired and I'm like, I'm feeling now
What I send.
Then there are days when I'm like, nah, I've got something to say, you know, and I'll bring all the guns out. Like I'm not in a rush. I'm there trying to ensure my metaphors are in place. So I would say my creative space or me writing is quite interesting. I wouldn't say I've got these rules that I follow when I'm writing in Bemba, and then I just feel like it's the same principles, but I apply them differently and always try to get my verses to be market worthy. You know, I want my verse to be played with. I was going to say with a Kendrick verse, but I'm like, okay, be humble. Let me relax. You know, with a Sheffy verse or with a Critic verse or with a Team verse or whoever, J. Cole. You know, I want my verse to be played, even if them Zambia, when they are played together, they're like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. You know, and I'm speaking like that because I have worked with producers who've produced for bigger artists. And the feedback we've gotten is very encouraging. They can pick that you're following the rules of writing a good verse. And so to sum up what I'm trying to say, following that really hard question, it's that I always have some principles that I've learned over time that I just put to practice every time. So I just now get creative with not being as predictable. Like if I always rhyme with the A-B pattern where I'm just rhyming last, you know, you write a sentence, you know, like I was trying to bust some lines. Well, they're failing to come. But if I've got the sentence one and then the last word is dignified. Sentence two, I'm thinking like, okay, you know, what would be cliche is just rhyming with light. Okay, but I'll break down the word dignified. It's got 3 syllables, and I'll look for, if not one word, I'll look for 3 words that can get me there. You know, shan you go. You know, I was lost and God saved me. I'm dignified. No longer walking in darkness. I'm in the light. You know, so you sort of start, you know,
building.
Yeah, you start building like that. And then sentence 3, I'll tell myself, okay, I shouldn't come rhyme at the end. Let me rhyme first with something that rhymes with dignified and in the light. I can't think of a rhyme right now, but yeah, that's my process. So sometimes it gets hard just like this. You're like,
Fifi like
salula ko amanina ngwinkoko wafako ba madam kitchen or baby what rhymes with shan so mwa mbita mwishi bati writing process ila kwa mwana ba madam
niko writing
no that mapela na
that's awesome. Yeah. So which book in the Bible inspires most of your ideas in the writing process?
I think I've read a lot of the Apostle Paul. So I think Romans my favorite scripture is Romans 1 verse 16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it's the power of God unto salvation for everyone who believes, the Jew, the Gentile. So Romans is my favorite book as well. I think it gives me clarity on the themes I try to address, the sinfulness of man, salvation being, through faith in God, by his grace, not the good things that we can do. So Romans inspires a lot of what I try to talk about. So sometimes I don't talk about it in a cliche way, like, oh yeah, Sina, Shani,
Ginger.
So I'll find a creative way to tell a story. Sometimes I'll sound like I'm the one going through it, maybe I'll talk about addiction. There's a song I've done called Nitandi Zeni. It's a cry for help. So there are times when, I want to just express that people are crying for help, So I'll speak it as me. But Romans is the framework I sort of use to shape my thoughts every now and then. And there's others. There's Galatians. There's Ephesians. There's books that have, subject matter that people need to know. And obviously the Gospels as well, because for you to talk about a person, you need to know him. So, but he asked me for one, so I'll just say Romans.
Okay, all right. So, what differences have you noticed between the hip hop space audiences on the Copper Belt, and in Lusaka? Because these are two different territories. Totally different territories. So, in your perspective, what differences have you found out?
I think differences are that in Lusaka, there seems to be an audience that. So this is not me trying to downplay a Copper Belt in any way, because someone might misunderstand what I'm saying. But there's an audience that loves that hip hop that's filled with punchlines.
So more traditional.
Yes, like, you need to rap, like rap on a beat and kill it. You know
like a boom bap kind of beat.
You know what I mean? You need to come and do your thing. That's how come even the biggest hip hop competitions we've had, none of them have been hosted here. You know what I mean? I'm from the Copper Belt, but and I've won some of the competitions, so I know what I'm talking about. If we talk about eardrum, it was hosted by Sangatembo. Sangatembo is originally from here, but was in Lusaka. Talk about Paya One. That was with DSTV, and I was in both of those competitions. Where was it? Lusaka. The corporates are funding big competitions outside. So there seems to be an audience that loves hip hop in Lusaka. And then on the Copper Belt, we love hip hop, but with a cultural twist to it. Like, just don't come here and Sungu. Don't pick up what. First of all, it's Sungu tachishtovunga. We've got a way in which we view life. So you sort of have to engage the Copper Belt culture, the Kopala culture, and then do your hip hop thing. You know what I mean? So that's not to say we don't have tough rappers who are riding Kopala beats. No, they are there. But I just think that would be the major difference I would put out there. It's that Lusaka has an audience that they gather even up to now. Most recently, 2024, I saw a place where two MCs came and they were having a hardcore battle rap competition. Unaisana squad yakwe, and it made me happy because I come from that world. But at the same time, I'm Christian now, so I'm like, guys, don't fight. Okay, don't we tukana.
Not there.
Hey, so I'm sure you get what I mean.
I get you.
But kuno kale now I'm feeling part cipher. You guys used to do the open mic.
Yeah.
And that's the closest we've gotten to. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. With open mic, what we tried to do was kind of being like the creative culture in Kitwe.
Yeah.
And the kind of set that scene, because we never really had one.
Yeah.
The club don't really have that creative scene in the sense that it's more like the traditional Copper Belt sound is very, like you said, it's different.
Much more dance.
Much more dance for possible. Very heavily Donka based.
Yeah.
But if we took open mic to Osaka, we'll be making bank.
Exactly.
We'll be making bank.
Exactly.
Even though we didn't go into open mic for the money, but in Osaka we'll be making a lot of money, and we'd be doing it maybe like on a weekly basis. On the Copper Belt, it's more dependent on like there's a niche. It's a niche.
Yes.
There's like a niche audience that open mic captured. But open mic is coming back, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. It's coming back. We're just
I'll be there to support it.
yeah, we're just trying to finalize a couple of things, but we'll be back soon. Yeah. So before
That's how I'd put it. But no disrespect to the copper belt. I love me the copper belt. Like, yeah, I've got Kopala tunes. So nalimba po love, son, tinga sapota wanga, chilumba, chalinkana, down to eighth, kama chikanivana. So I'm with you. But I've also got the bars that come from the heart. Like I'm trying to rap, you know what I mean? Where I'm not trying to just rhyme with a word that can be on a dance beat.
There was yeah, I think you have this relationship with Shefi. For when you guys are on a song together, you kind of kill it. Not kind of kill it. You do kill it. Like
Appreciate that.
I'm trying to think of a song that was. It was like it was a hip hop. It was a darkish hip hop beat. I'm trying to remember.
Pukuta. Yeah? Is it Pukuta or is it Love Over Hate?
No, not Love Over Hate. No, I know Love Over Hate. I think it's Pukuta.
Yeah.
I think
so the one we dropped to raise awareness about different issues.
Yeah. That was a dope one. That was a dope one. And that's more hip hop traditional.
Exactly. Traditional. So even when he sent that backstory, when it comes to that, he sent that at midnight. Just to pick my mind, I think. Like, dropping this. So I'm like, I'm down. Gospel uno. So it's like, okay, if you can work on it. Yeah, but I'm dropping it in the morning. You know, and I'm up for a challenge. Like, you can't catch me sleeping.
Danny, what? 28? And we are back for the final session. We were talking about Pukuta. Yeah. So how did that come up?
Yeah, backstory. Midnight, I get the song. And I just felt like that was my world. Shefi is not really known to make some commentary on certain issues, you know, like, so on the song we were trying to raise awareness and say, look, there's a hype right now, people are voting for people based off songs. There's no thought process.
There's never
exactly. So
especially the Zambian aspect, it's always the wave.
Exactly. So just add some objectivity. If you feel like it's this candidate, feel free. And again, let's not be violent. Let's not fight. Let's not. Yeah, so that was the heart behind it. So it's where we're not trying to side with anyone. So yeah, midnight, Isa, and I told him, yeah, this is something I have stuff to say, and he knew because I've done songs that address the government. I've done a song called No Papa, very dangerous time. When I dropped it, that era of Nyolu Molet that disagree. You know what I mean? Hey, so it was in that space, and I've done another song which I won't give the title, but I was addressing someone. Yeah, so anyway, comes and I feel like I've got something to say, and I tell him I'll have a verse done by 3 a.m. So that's like 01, we're chatting. I get in the studio, and it was easy to write because I think there's a way in which Shefi and I just have chemistry on a project that it just happens. Like I won't have to force anything. I'm not trying to kill anything. I'm not trying to. Of course, I know he's a beast. I'm like, okay, Shefi alepa yama rapper. Yeah, but I mean, for Kale to wife, died with Christ.
You died to self.
We're dying to self, so we don't die on beats. So yeah, I wrote the verse. I did the mixing and the mastering for the project just with our studio here in Kitwe, Mena Art House Limited, or Mena TSG Art House. That's what we call the studio, but it's a sub of Mena Art House Limited. So yeah, by 5 a.m. it was done. We created like an MP4 version so that it can go to YouTube. Yeah, so and that's how we dropped the song. But unfortunately, there were two versions that leaked because when Shefi forwarded that first version to me, he forwarded it to someone else, some DJ or something, who had a version that he also posted on the same day. But on Shefi's official YouTube, it's a joint collaboration. Yeah, so that's how that happened. The beat was very hip hop, and I never struggle with those. I enjoy them because that's where I come from. You know, so that's how Pukuta came to life.
Yeah. So, okay, one final question. You've talked about you working with Shefi, big, and then your maps now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I think we'll call you the king of challenges because any challenge you're on, you kill it.
Yeah,
Any
yeah,
challenge you're on,
yeah.
you kill it. You're the best. You always win. And then the Yango thing came up,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, if Danny does this, he's going to kill it.
He's taking it.
And then he did it, and he killed it. I was just like,
Daddy Shimi. London aside,
yeah,
Shimi
and you know Kandi, right?
Yeah.
And Kandi and I talked about it, like, he's going to kill it. Yeah. So the working with your maps.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
That was a beautiful experience, man. Big ups to Yango, big ups to Director Low, big ups to Yomaps himself, and the brother called the Beat Banger, because it was a whole team of people. I loved that experience because it was a learning process for me. You know, it was not just to have him maps. You know what I mean? They made it worth
Worthwhile.
nachava kuyilanda mchibemba nomba
It's worthwhile.
wow. Yeah, but it was one of those experiences where you're on set, you're not there just to collaborate, but you're learning because my wife and I run a media company as well. So we're getting the tricks as well. Like, oh, this is what Director Low does. Oh, okay. You know, this is how Maps comes up with his, you know. So it was amazing. I learned so much, more than even just the collaboration itself. You know, it reached a point where I was convinced we made a beautiful song or a timeless song, because it just worked. He came to the studio. I wanted him on a typical hip hop beat because I'm hip hop. You know, everyone who was in that session can bear witness. We had a different version that would have come out. So he steps in the booth and he feels like, you know what, I love this, but this will be limited to
a certain
niche audience we're talking about.
A certain audience, just like the hip hop heads are going to
exactly. So we now had to get to a common place where we're still rapping, but we create an anthem that can be used anywhere, you know. So yeah, that's how that process was. So I've summarized it, but there was you know, we did an official launch for the song. We did shows for it. It was beautiful. All I can say is God really showed me that choosing the path I've chosen is not a waste of time. He makes all things beautiful when he desires and when he pleases. And that was a reminder, because, you know, just picture going to your TikTok and you're seeing 20,000 videos, and you've always wanted to just have 100 people. Because I do have songs that have got 1,000 videos, you know, maybe with Shefi or even just some of the songs on my catalog that people just connect with. There are songs that are not mainstream bangers, but people are connecting at that level. You know, they are connecting. A song called Wisakamana, or, you know, and those are songs where maybe it's just me on the record. Yeah, but that one was different because, I mean, Maps is one of the, you know, frontliners in our industry. So it gave me a very much needed push, and now I don't have to explain myself in certain conversations or when I'm trying to work with certain people, and even just with the numbers that it gave me. We should be touching 200,000 streams on Spotify, and Spotify is a hard platform.
It's a hard platform.
You know? So just with that particular song, and it got me to tap into Maps's audience as well, because Spotify playlists the song on his his end as well. So there's all those perks that it came with. So to sum everything up, the team behind the entire project did a great job. And then obviously my wife is someone who supports me every time. She was on set and just learning what she had to learn, directing some things and giving some ideas and suggestions. So beautiful is the word, man. It was an amazing experience. Grateful to God for it. I might put Maps on another record for the album, but but a part of me feels like we will not create that magic again.
I feel like it was like a once in a lifetime situation.
Yeah, I feel like there are songs like that that you just can't recreate. The moment you say, let's do what we did again. And I've seen other artists try to do that even with Maps. They had a banger
once and then try to
Yama
recreate.
Phenoma, I mean, Makitu does it well. He makes a banger with Maps every time. That's a different conversation.
They have a relationship
Yes.
that's just magical in a sense.
But kwa divided, you know, and especially when you know that, okay, Maps has a bigger following and all you're trying to do is just eat
Right,
from
from
that
that
every
one.
time, I feel like you lose yourself.
You use yourself because
Yeah.
you're trying to fit into that niche.
Yeah. You just want to. So that's the struggle we faced with management or with the team as we are strategizing about the project. It's that we might, you know, because we've been in conversations already, but you're like, nah, let's keep it there. Because initially, Lesana Mpala was supposed to be on the album. Because remember, the time frame I was telling you about was 2023. But it didn't drop then. So even now, I'm like, I might put it. Obviously, not with major shout outs to Yango, because now that's the album project. But that's how that process was, and that's where we're at. And people need to look out for the album. Amazing features.
Yeah. So the album drops on
3rd of July 2025.
Okay, so 3rd July 2025. Keep your posters. Put it on your calendars.
Yeah.
It's been a good one, bro.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Really appreciate what you guys are doing for the culture. There's need for more of these platforms on the Copper Belt. We see a lot of podcasts.
And
you know,
we're here to Shimika as the Shimi podcast.
And that's a blessing. So those would be my last words, that you guys need to keep watching and sharing. Don't keep this conversation to yourself. You know, share it on your statuses. You know, share it with other people. If you know a Danny TSG Humayne supporter, feel free. And I'm willing to pop up here again because I've enjoyed the questions. I feel like they didn't ask me like those cliche questions, you know.
I don't know, when you come back again,
cliche questions like, you know, how did you discover? I mean,
how did you discover a wife?
Like, bro, I don't know, man. Jesus and God had his way of bringing us together. That's a topic for another day. But I just wanted to say thank you for having me. Really appreciate what you guys are doing, and keep doing what you're doing. And may God bless your efforts.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Especially when you've platformed Christians, because I feel like Christians are not stepping into these spaces a lot. So if you're a Christian and you're watching, please
come through.
Break out of the shell. Tell your story. Someone needs to hear it out there. Preach the gospel that Jesus came down and he died for broken sinners like us. And he rose again from the dead. And if he saved me, he can save you. And that's the message I carry. So my prayer is that people can step in platforms or on platforms and share that message. And it doesn't have to be cliche. We can have a conversation like we had, and someone will be pointed to God. And for me, that's what matters. So thank you.
Yeah, all right, that's awesome. Don't worry. Wait. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next episode. We are shooting right by etc. Studios, etc. Science and Technologies, right opposite Parkland Secondary School. So if you need your podcast done here, we do that. We'll produce, direct, edit, and distribute for you. So come through. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Mrs. Danny.
She's in the building, but she's not here.
She's in the background. And we shall see you in the next episode. Most likely, it won't be me. Bye.
Don't tell them I told you. Ship it.
All right.